Hello everyone, Rebecca here from Stocking My Pantry, and in today's video we're going to be canning Sloppy Joes. I am really looking forward to this. I love having easy meals in the jar, on the pantry. I love having easy meals in the pantry that I can get ready to go in just a few minutes, and this is something we enjoy, so I can't wait to have it available for my family. So I got this recipe from healthycanning.com. That is a great website. They focus, as you can tell, on healthy canning, or really more safe canning. And I am using a half of a recipe because I wanted to be able to fit it into one canner load in my Nesco. If you don't have a Nesco, don't worry about it. You can use any pressure canner. It does have to be pressure canned. So let's go into the ingredients and then we'll get into the process. So first of all, I already have browned 2 pounds of ground beef, and I've drained it, rinsed it, all of that. We also will have 1.5 cups of chopped onions. I'll go ahead and dump that in. 3/4 of a cup of chopped green peppers, bell peppers actually. 1 cup of tomato paste. This is going to be a pretty full pot, but it'll be okay. I would normally do this in a larger pot, but I have found that a larger pot doesn't work on my induction burner, and I'm going to give this a try and hope it works. If it doesn't, I'll take you guys over to the stove so you can see. 1 cup of ketchup. One cup of water. A 1/2 tablespoon of salt, a 1/2 tablespoon of sugar, and a scant 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper. I put them all together in this one jar. And one thing I love about the Healthy Canning site is she does answer questions like, can you leave certain things out? And you can leave the sugar out of this if you don't want to have the sugar. And about a 1/2 tablespoon of prepared pepper. I'm just going to squirt some in. That's probably about right. Okay, and now the instructions say to add all the prepped veg and all remaining ingredients to the pot, bring to a boil uncovered, then reduce heat to a simmer and let simmer for 5 minutes uncovered. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, now let's hope this works. I'm going to go ahead and stir this all up. And as you can see, this is definitely full, but it should work okay as long as I'm here to keep an eye on it. One thing that I love about this recipe is that it doesn't use a ton of ingredients. There's no weird or exotic ingredients. It has stuff that you'll pretty much have on hand except the peppers and the onions, but those are generally easy to get. Okay, everything's mixed together, so I'm just going to let it come to a boil. It's already beginning to. Okay, you can see it's starting to boil. So I'm going to reduce the heat down, and if need be, I'll reduce it down a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes so I can simmer it for 5 minutes. Okay, you can see it's simmering away, so that's good. Okay, it's been simmering for 5 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and take it off the heat, and then we're going to fill our jars. And by the way, this is a hot pack recipe, so I have already heated my jars and my water in the Nesco. Actually, you always heat your jars to some extent, just not as hot when you're doing a cold pack. So I'm going to take these out. If you don't know how to heat your jars and your water in your Nesco, I have a video for that, and I'll link to that as well. So I have 5 pint jars in my canner all ready to go. The recipe should take only 4, but I wanted 1 extra just in case. And I'll leave that in there for the whole time if I don't use it, okay? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and fill our jars to 1-inch headspace. And I'm using the ladle to kind of stir around the Sloppy Joe mixture a little bit because you want an even amount of liquid in each jar, okay? By the way, I'm going to just kind of spread these, distribute this evenly. And I do have a little bit of hot water, boiling water. Well, that's actually really hot water ready to go in case I need to top these off a little bit. One thing that you have to be careful of with something like Sloppy Joe's is you don't want it to be too thick or the heat won't penetrate. Now I am using what would be considered a safe recipe, so it should be totally fine, but it also won't hurt if I have to add a little bit of hot water to bring it up to a 1-inch headspace. If I did that and it was a little bit runny when I was ready to serve it, I would just simmer it a little bit till it was the right consistency. Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to need to put a little bit more in each of these, and I've got just a teeny bit more, so it actually is working out pretty good. Okay, I'm going to debubble and then add whatever extra that I need to. Use a teeny bit more. All right, so we have just a teeny bit left, so that's just perfect. I am actually going to serve one of these for lunch today, and so I'm just going to put this aside, and obviously the peppers and the onions in this little bit that's left are not cooked through, but as I simmer them, they will, to heat everything up, they'll cook through, so that'll be fine. So 4 pints was perfect, and as I said, I'm going to leave the 5th pint in here. It'll just help keep things from moving around. I do have a canning ring underneath one jar, so it lifts it up a little bit and makes it easier to grab when everything's said and done. And now we're going to go ahead and wipe the rims with vinegar. And I don't think I was too messy. I tend to be messy. I don't think I was too messy today, but always a good idea to wipe the rims. Make sure there's not anything on them, any kind of a residue from what you prepared, because that can keep you from having a good seal. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and we'll get the rings and the lids and the rings and get those on. Okay, we're going to put the lids on. And I had 5 prepared. I don't need one of them, so I'll put that back with my unused rings. Fingertip tight. Okay. I have found if I have one that's harder to put on, I need to reposition it and start over, because often if I don't and I just keep fiddling with the ring and I get it on, that'll be the one that doesn't seal, because maybe the lid wasn't on quite right. Okay, and one more. Okay, this is another one that doesn't want to quite go. Okay, now we're going to put them into the canner. Okay, put the lid on and make sure that it's in the exhaust position to start off. And we'll press high and we'll put in the time, which is 75 minutes for pints. And we'll press start. The water is hot, and so hopefully it won't take terribly long, but it could take up to 30 minutes. And once it, whoops, I didn't have the lid closed all the way. So you do need to close the lid all the way and make sure it's on exhaust. And then put in the time, 75 minutes. And then what's going to happen, the digital chase will go around, and then once it gets up to the temperature is up, you'll see an E10. It will count down E10 to E0, and then it will beep. At that point, I'll switch the valve to airtight, and then it still sometimes takes a little bit of time after that for the countdown timer to begin. I'm going to bring you back when everything's done so you can see the finished product. See you in just a little bit. So I just took all of them out of the canner. Before I even got them out of the canner, I heard all of them ping, which is fantastic. It does look like, I'm looking at the water, it does look like there was maybe a tiny bit of siphoning, but not a lot. So it looks really great. I'm going to hold one up for you, so hopefully you can see it. I'll zoom in on it a little bit. I'm really pleased with how it looks because while it's not completely finished, there's a little bit of liquid in it. So I like that because I just feel like it's safer processing when there's enough liquid in it for the heat to penetrate well. And so I'm looking forward to having these. I did take a taste of the part that didn't fit into the jars, you know, the little bit that I have, and it tastes really great. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these are like. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you would like the video, and if you haven't already done so, if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.